Okay, I'm recording. I got it.
All right. Certainly, I know that there's lots and lots of aspiring and new voice actors who find what you do very helpful. So, you guys were very kind and sent to me the try booth. I'm sure many other voice actors would say the same thing. They're traveling, they're away from their home studio, and suddenly they get an audition. They have pickups they need to record. They've got something they need to put on tape, and it's got to sound good. That's sort of, I think, the genesis for this idea. So, Rick, do you want to sort of tell us how this project, this project and form factor came to be?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're lucky enough to find yourself being the voice of something ongoing, like ongoing work, like a campaign for some commercial work or a network for promo, it's one of the luckiest positions you can find yourself in, to have ongoing, regular voiceover work. If there is a downside, and it's hard to find one, but if there is, it just means that you're confined to a booth for a long time. And we just moved recently to Culver City, but we lived between Calabasas and Malibu. We had a big old house, and it was great and beautiful, and it was everything I dreamed about. But the fact was, I'm just in a booth all day. I couldn't even really enjoy the house. I'm just in the box the whole time. So I'm in there. And the other thing is I'm a stage actor. It's what I do. It's what I was trained for, what I went to grad school for. In fact, while I was the Zest guy, I was also doing The Lion King on Broadway and eventually doing voiceover all at the same time. And it felt great just to kind of have my finger in many pies and doing everything I want to do. But anyway, I'm in the booth all the time. And I said to my wife, I'm getting a little nuts. I'm going a little crazy. And I said, not to get grim, but at some point in time, I'm going to croak and I'm going to be put into a box. And right now, I'm spending all of my time in this box. I'm going to need a little bit of time outside the box. And she said, I totally get it. I said, I'm going to go get a legit agent again, right? Meaning, to do stage and that kind of stuff. And she said, okay. And I did. And then I eventually got my first job after over a decade. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, to George. I said, I got this job. It's in Colorado, and not like in Denver. It's in kind of isolated Colorado to do this show. Yeah, for 3 months. And how am I going to do this? How do I make it sound like I'm still in my studio? And we said, well, we'll work it out. And I think we found something on eBay. We kind of knocked together and sent it in parts and stuff. George was there to make kind of an audio filter for me so that what I recorded in this very kind of clunky booth could sound like the output that I had from my home studio. And the best thing I could tell you is that the producers at the network had no idea I was gone. They didn't even know. I thought, oh, I can do it now. This is great. This is the golden handcuffs have now been broken, which is our logo. So when I came back, we kind of debriefed, George and I. How did it work? It was okay. It was a little this and a little that, and it could be better. And then we just started playing. We just started saying, well, if we were to make this better for your next show, what would we do to it? Well, we can make it a little smaller, a little lighter. I don't need it to be as tall. I need some light. And over time, and over the next several shows I did, we would just kind of tweak it and keep changing it and changing it till it got to a point where we really got excited about it. And then I was going to teach a master class at UConn. And while I was there, I would take the train over to New York, and I would do voiceover there and see friends. So I had my booth with me, and I set it up at a studio where all the booths were being used. But of course, I had my booth with me, so I was fine. I put it up, and there was a very kind and curious Broadway actor there who does a lot of voiceover, and looked at it and said, what is that? I went, oh, it's my travel booth. And he said, I want it. And I said, oh,
That's awesome.
well, this is mine. I mean, I only have this one. And he went, listen, make it so I can buy it. I went, oh, yeah, okay, sure. So I went back, and George and I talked about it. We worked on it for several more months because at that point it had only been built for me. And now we realized it had to be built so other people could work the way they like to work, make it adjustable, make it easier for everybody.
Make it easier to assemble.
Make it easier to assemble, right? No separate poles. Yeah, exactly. So we did, and now it's patent pending, and we've sold a lot of them.
That's fantastic. It's clear that this is not iteration number one. At least that's how it seems to me. This doesn't seem like iteration number one.
Oh, no.
It looks like there was an ongoing sort of genesis to put this thing together.
Yes, it definitely evolved. George, you remember the first sort of model we had? Well, obviously the first model we had was shaped like a rectangle, like every other booth. And we were at the time trying to figure out, how do we get this thing lighter? Well, let's just lose a whole leg. Let's lose a whole leg, one whole vertical leg, and make it a big kind of triangular prism. Why not? And it turns out, and we didn't do it for this reason, but it turns out that acoustically, I think it's better. I think it's just better. Maybe because it eats up a little bit more room, but I think it fits bodies better. There's plenty of room to gesture, which a lot of us like to move when we do voiceover. I move a lot, and I can move in that booth.
It makes sense. You know, it fits your shoulders. It fits your shoulders. When you're standing with your back to it, it fit me just fine. It takes a second for me to sort of get over the fact that these walls are right here. But as soon as I started to talk to it and just sort of face the mic and look at the copy stand, then it melted away, because all of a sudden I was confident in the sound. That was my very first reaction when I walked in. I was like, this is way better, certainly than I'm sure what you're hearing from my mic now, because you're going to hear a lot of room. When you walk in there, it really does work. The doubling of the blankets, the way that everything fits together, it's tight. And I was pleasantly surprised.
Thank you.